Hi, good afternoon, Ramsey. This is great. For people tuning in, Ramsey Goodrich is a partner in the firm Carter Morse Goodrich, a mergers and acquisition firm. And Ramsey's had a long history with the XPX, and he's been a significant contributor to the success of XPX. Ramsey, why don't you just kick off by sharing with us how you got involved and then maybe roll into how you built the tri-state chapter the tri-state chapter office by office because you ended up with quite an organization.
Yeah, well, thank you. And thanks, Mike, for introducing me to XPX. Actually, as I like to say, it's all your fault. And so I really actually appreciate it. So I think we first met back in '08, right after you had started XPX up in Boston. And through some mutual acquaintances, and sure enough, was so enthralled with the concept of it that it really made sense to try to see how we might try to expand it. At the time, I was really involved in ACG, the Association for Corporate Growth, but really the complement of XPX with an organization like ACG or even NACD and TMA and the ecosystem of deal-making professionals in the New England area was really quite special. ACG had moved into more private equity, more transaction focused, more the deal forward stuff. But nobody had been really talking about, nobody paid any attention to the planning and preparation that goes into a successful transaction or a successful exit. And so XPX was and continues to be the right platform for those of us that really want to focus on that planning and preparing and getting ready for the transaction. Then it graduates or moves into an XPX or hopefully into a ACG and not into a TMA, but certainly it was the right place at the right time. Back in, I think you and I first met in '08, we brought it down to Connecticut with some other friends in the Hartford area in '09, and really started it there with a small group of folks that were more concerned about the wealth management, the people management, the transaction preparedness side of the equation. Did pretty well with it out of Hartford, but we saw a larger opportunity actually down in Fairfield County, a little bit closer to New York. And so we moved the headquarters of Connecticut from Hartford down to Fairfield County, and then realized, you know what, it was so good in both places, let's go reopen a chapter in Hartford. We'd been pulled into some friends into New York. There was rumblings about some other things. We said, well, hold on a second. If this is too good of an organization to keep it to ourselves, so how do we promote and make it easy for newer chapters to come up and running? So we had leveraged the institutional knowledge and the infrastructure of XPX Connecticut, and said, well, let's have a subchapter in Hartford, and then another subchapter in New York. And then the folks in New York took us to New Jersey. And then the same people from New York then took us to Long Island. So now all of a sudden we had a really interesting ecosystem of XPX chapters throughout the tri-state area. So Hartford, Fairfield County, New York, New Jersey, and most recently Long Island. Each with their own personality, each with their own set of unique circumstances and ways to do business. Each still incredibly collaborative, but each with its own personality. And so it was a great way to get 5 chapters really up and running. We're all within an hour of each other, but it's really different ways of thinking about developing business and doing relationship building.
That's great. Thank you. So the firm, Carter Morse Goodrich, then you must have benefited from your relationships, your visibility, your interactions on committees and so forth. Is that right?
I would certainly hope so. I think it was Ogilvy who said 50% of marketing is effective and 50% is not. I just can't tell you which 50%. So I don't look at it, there's probably not a direct line, dotted line to any one aspect of XPX that makes the difference, other than great relationships. When you have the basis of collaboration, of teamwork, of really client-centric focus of helping these business owners through their once-in-a-lifetime transaction, it's really important to have that ecosystem of trusted advisors around you. As we were saying earlier, other organizations are really focused on the transaction. But when you're talking about planning and preparing for that exit, it's a different ecosystem. So the folks in XPX have been invaluable for us to really think about how do we help our clients through that. Carter Morse, we've been around for 37 years. All we've done is advising multi-generational family businesses and founder-led organizations through their once-in-a-lifetime transaction, where that planning and preparation is actually more important than the execution. We can make a bigger difference in that front-end side than we can with the actual execution. So having this network of experts has been really invaluable, from a wealth management, from a strategy, from an HR, from a consulting, from an operations, from a legal, whatever we needed, it was right there at XPX.
So it sounds like this getting in early into the business with your XPX colleagues must have helped deal flow a good bit, because I imagine you built up the confidence in the business owner. You were able to build that relationship and that trust to take that company to market.
Yep, that's exactly right. And that the client gets the confidence that they're doing the right thing. Selling your business may be the scariest thing of all time for anybody that's ever gone through a transaction. So to be able to say, I've got the right team around me, it has to start with that. It ends with valuation and dollars and structure, but it starts with, am I doing the right thing? Is this enough? Am I thinking about this the right way? How do I think about driving value? How do I take care of my management team, my employees, my legacy? Am I ready to do this? You can't get that, I don't think, in any other organization other than XPX, of those folks that are really focused, hyper-focused on working with that business owner to transition the business. It may not be a sale. It may not need us, M&A advisors in there, but how do I pass it down in better business to my next generation? How do I leave it for my management team? How do I deal with all the different aspects, emotional, physical, financial, that go into thinking about that transition?
So I imagine that you made relationships and contacts which benefited you and your deal flow. I imagine that you introduced people to your clients as well to help them fill in the gaps of what they needed.
Every day. Yep, without question. At the end of the day, while we are technical experts in executing M&A deals, it all starts and ends with relationships and teamwork and collaboration. I know what we do really well. I think we do it, I think we do it pretty well. I don't know how to do some of the legal work or the tax planning or the wealth management planning or the psychoanalytics or the family counseling or any of the other stuff that's so important to these transactions or transitions, that I know I'm not the expert at that. I don't pretend to be the expert at that. I need XPX to go make those connections. I may not call everybody in XPX every time, but when you have that network of trusted advisors that you can call on when you know you have it, there's nothing better for us than to walk into a client and they throw a problem on the table and say, you know what, I got somebody. I'll be right back. Let me make a phone call. And I can't tell you how many times I've literally whipped out my cell phone at a client meeting, say, hold on one second, let's call her right now. And wow, it's amazing to be able to have that kind of responsiveness and that kind of network. That says, hey, Ramsey, how are you? Yeah, what do you got? And then we dive right in. And it's that establishment of trust, and that there's nothing better.
So I imagine that some of these opportunities came to you because of your position of leadership and your visibility within the 5 chapters. But you must have also observed other XPX colleagues interacting with one another and sharing opportunities as well.
Yep, that's why we exist, is to bring in the experts and to share and collaborate. I've been lucky enough to have a leadership role over the years. that has been given great visibility. I encourage anybody and everybody to get more involved and really help drive this organization forward. It's been invaluable for us, but at the same point, it's more about creating those relationships. As we've always said, if you're a one and done, show up for a meeting, I didn't get any business, I'm never coming back, wrong organization for you. If it's about driving relationships and developing networks and becoming trusted advisors over time through multiple interactions over multiple years, it's been fantastic. So yeah, I've been lucky enough to be a leader, but at the same point, I've also, when I'm hanging out at the back of the room, trying to find my next piece of bacon, there's nothing better than having that, striking up that one-off conversation that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do.
This is terrific. It's very gratifying. And as you look back on your 15 or 16 years with XPX,
Has it really been that long? Wow, I
well,
guess
think
really
about
has
it.
been,
We just
hasn't
said
it?
09, 08.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has been. Um, what what do you look back and what are you most proud of those years that you spent participating, contributing, leading XPX the way you have?
I think it's probably three things, believe it or not. There's not one that I can point to. Number one is to be able to take XPX, get it started, get it rolling, and create a valuable network that didn't exist before here in the tri-state area is amazing. And what we hear from all the participants at XPX that come in is, oh my God, there's no other organization like this. So to be able I feel privileged to have been able to get the ball rolling is the first one, and create something, or leverage what you all started up in Boston, and now to see it proliferate across the country is really awesome. Launching it was pretty cool. I think the more important one is getting the momentum. The fact that this has been a snowball that's continued to roll downhill and get bigger and bigger and more important, bring in more people, get them more involved, and create those other opportunities for everybody has been fantastic. Yes, I'm the lucky beneficiary of it, but it's more about creating that network of collaboration that's been really, really impressive. And boy, over 15 years, I still can't believe it was that long ago. But I think the third one is the development of all the relationships. To be able to pick up the phone and call anybody about anything at any time and go, yep, I know you, I trust you, I like you, let's see if we can work together. And let's bring the best resources we can to each of our clients. Those relationships may have started at XPX, but now they've flourished into something so much bigger.
Well, this has been great. Thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on your accomplishments with XPX. Thank you from the organizers and the backup services that we provide at XPX Global for you and your team. And best wishes in the future. It sounds like things are still going strong, and it's wonderful. I look forward to seeing you in person soon.
I can't wait to see the next generation of XPX leaders really take it. We've got one partner here that's on the tri-state board, and we're not going away anytime soon. It's been too much fun and too valuable for us. So, and Mike, thank you for getting the whole ball rolling back in 2008 when we first got together in Boston. It's really amazing to see how a really good idea has taken off. So congratulations to you.
Cool. Hey, listen, thank you very much for your time, and we'll talk soon.